has basically had a meltdown over these damn tariffs. The Supreme Court yesterday said that his blanket tariffs were illegal and shut him down. Now, in response to that, Trump decided that he's going to continue to break the law and that he really didn't give a damn about what the Supreme Court said. So, here, you know what? Let's take a listen to his comments.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States.
Now, here's the problem. Other than the fact that Trump is having a meltdown, he's trying to convince you that it's a win for him that the Supreme Court has let it be known that he does not have absolute authority. And he has no authority to just use IEEPA as a means for laying down blanket tariffs. But as I said in response, Trump basically said he didn't give a fuck what the court says. And so now he's laying down a blanket 15% tariff globally. And he's using some other statutes which gives him the latitude to be able to do this, but he has 150 days, and then he has to go to Congress to get congressional approval to extend those tariffs. Now, I'm betting that Congress, this current Congress, is going to go ahead and give him those 150 days because, obviously this Congress has been compromised. But I must say, for the first time this year, I'm very delighted with the Supreme Court because, as you know, the Supreme Court is compromised as well. And we've been saying for a long time that some changes need to be made, to the Supreme Court, as they basically have no means of holding them accountable for ethics violations or partisanship or anything of the matter. A court is supposed to be a nonpartisan, co-equal branch of government. As is Congress. Congress is also supposed to be nonpartisan, co-equal branch of government. But as it stands now, the Republican Party, the Conservative Party controls all three branches of government. And this is why we have such a lawless government operating now, because they have they have all laid down their loyalty to a wannabe dictator, a wannabe king. Donald Trump, you are no king, okay? You are no strong man, regardless of the fact that you are the president of the United States, arguably the most powerful nation on the planet. But now, the most powerful criminal organization on the planet. That's how I see it. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. And I'm sure many of you will not agree with me, but that's okay. Donald Trump, though, is a lawless individual. He's a 34-time convicted felon. He's an adjudicated sexual predator, and he's a 5-time draft dodging coward. I will state that every time I broadcast, every time I record and post anything in regards to this administration, because it is a fact. It's funny every time I hear some MAGA maniac, on different channels and podcasts, saying that, well, Trump was never convicted of anything. Yes, the fuck he was. He was convicted in a U.S. court of law. And I, I don't know what they're following or what, where they're getting their information from. But these clowns will go to any length to protect their dear leader. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand the cult mentality, especially when anybody with common sense would see that the Trump administration does not give a fuck about them or anything related to them. All Trump cares about is enriching himself and his family and his billionaire friends. He is the epitome of the elites that he talks so badly about. He is one of the elites. So think about that. Let that shit sink in. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump is exactly what he claimed to be draining the swamp of. And you know what? I'll give him a lot of credit. He did drain the swamp. Then he dredged it out a lot deeper, and he filled that motherfucking swamp back up with even more critters and reptilians. You know what I'm saying? So where do we stand right now? This country is the laughing stock of the world. We're about to lose all support from our allies. I was reading an article just the other day where Europe is actually putting plans and mechanisms in place to completely cut the U.S. out of the world market. Let me tell you something. If Europe and the rest of the world, decides to say fuck the United States, it's a wrap, y'all. It's a wrap. These white people running America will lose their motherfucking minds, and they will. I believe that would start World War III, because these greedy billionaire motherfuckers here in America would lose their minds. They would lose their minds, and all for what? All for what? To follow Donald Trump? Donald Trump is going to lead them all to damnation. He's going to lead us all to damnation if we allow it to happen. But we got to stop this nonsense. I know I get on here and I babble about this shit all the time, and I really don't want to talk about this shit, but somebody has to talk about what it really is. These news agencies aren't. And a lot, and shout out to Midas Touch Network, because they are definitely putting it out there. What the real threat is. They talk about the things that major media should be talking about, and thank God, as of right now, they're not influenced by any major corporations or anything like that. So A shout out to Ben Mycellus in the Midas Touch Network. And no, they don't know who the fuck I am. They don't pay me. They don't support my channel or anything like that. I watch them because they tell the truth, unfiltered, and truly unbiased. So again, shout out to them. Also, shout out to Ms. Heidi French. I'm sure a lot of you have seen her posts. One, she is hilarious, and as she said, she holds a black belt in tongue because let me tell you, when she lashes out at MAGA, not only is it funny as hell and entertaining as hell, but she tells the truth. So shout out to Ms. Heidi French up there in Chicago. Keep doing what you do. And also shout out to Mary Trump. Mary Trump, probably, in my opinion, one of the most courageous women out there now because, one, she bears the Trump name. And I'm sorry for that, Ms. Trump. I'm sorry that you have to share DNA with the world's most prolific grifter and criminal. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for sounding off every day and getting the word out there in regards to your uncle. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of courage to go against the family dynamic. So there you have it. Donald Trump continues his criminal intent, his criminal ways, his felonious ways, and there are a few of us out here who are doing everything we can to sound off and ensure that that the right information is getting out there because. If we all just lay down and give up, then we're doomed. We really are doomed. So don't give up the fight, y'all. For all of y'all out there in the streets, for all of y'all on the internet, who are sounding off and letting your voice be heard, shout out to y'all. And let's all stick together. Let's all stick together. I'm a veteran, so I could never support anybody like Trump. I couldn't support him just because, you know, or mainly because he's a draft dodger. He's a draft dodging coward. And recently he had the nerve to say that he was brave for going to Iraq or somewhere overseas. Really? Come on. I can't even comment further on that. It gives me a headache to think about some of the shit that he says. Every time I listen to a speech from Donald Trump, I often wonder if MAGA hears the same thing that normal people are listening to. Because I just, I can't believe that they listen to him and they think that he's this charismatic, speaker. He's dumb as a rock. He is dumb as a rock. My 7-year-old grandson speaks better than Donald Trump. Think about that. My 7-year-old grandson speaks far better than Donald Trump and makes more sense than all of the MAGA motherfuckers that I've ever listened to. But what's even worse than Donald Trump? The Marco Rubios, the Ted Cruzes, the J.D. Vances. These motherfuckers who are arguably much smarter than Trump. And in my opinion, they're more dangerous than Trump. And this is what we got to fight against because Trump ain't going to be in there forever. He's old. We're going to be reading the great big obituary soon. and when I say soon, I don't know, this year, next year, within the next few years, the great big obituary is going to hit the airwaves, and hopefully, MAGA and the Republican Party is not in power when that happens. Because if they are, then we're really in for a dangerous transition. Because if somebody like Marco Rubio or JD Vance, takes over in the White House, we may not be able to recover for many decades, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. I did a broadcast just the other day on TikTok. Letting MAGA know. Listen, I'm not your enemy, MAGA. Your enemy is the one that convinced you that I'm your enemy, and that's your dear leader, Donald Trump. Y'all need to get it together, man. Y'all need to open your eyes, pay attention. I'm not talking about those on our side, because I'm claiming a side now. And that's not to say that I'm praising everything that the Democratic Party does, but let me tell you something. History has proven that the Democratic Party is taking care of this country far better than any Republican leadership. Far better. We may not still get everything done that needs to be done or get it done the right way, but they do it far better than any Republican leadership has ever done, and that's a fact. So listen, man, y'all, I don't know what the solution is going to be other than the fact that MAGA has to go and everybody associated with MAGA has to go. We got to root them out. We got to root them out from the bottom to the top, y'all. Politics works from the bottom up. We got to hit them locally, regionally, and federally. City, state, city, county, state, and nationally. We got to fight, basically a three-dimensional war. You know what I mean? If we're going to take back this country and truly get this country on the path to greatness, because we haven't reached it yet. We were on our way. We were moving towards greatness. It's been an experiment for the last 250 years, and it may take another 250 years before we actually get there. But right now, I think we've been set back at least 50, maybe 100 years. It's going to take a lot of work to get us back on track, to regain international trust, and to regain our place in the world as a true world leader. Because right now we're not. And we got to do something before it's too late. As I said, Europe is working on a plan to cut us out of the global market. And if that happens, the United States, as we know it, is done. Is done. Y'all don't want to end up like the hermit nation, like North Korea, do you? Isolated from the entire world. Because even their so-called allies don't like them. And believe me, you don't want to live like the North Korean population. You don't want that. But that's where we're headed if people like Donald Trump are allowed to stay in power. He cares nothing about the American people. I don't understand why y'all can't see that. Well, I understand it because you're cult members. You're in a cult. I just don't understand the cult mentality. But there you have it. That's my rant tonight. I'm not even going to do the 9 o'clock show because I wanted to get on here early because the shit was just eating me up inside. So I had to let it out. It may not make sense to a lot of you, but as I've always said before, I come on because it's therapy for me. I gotta get this shit off my chest, and that's why I created this platform. And eventually, I'm gonna open it up for other people to be able to voice their opinions as well. But please leave some comments. Let me know what you think, whether or not you agree or disagree. I want to know everything from everyone out there that's willing to speak out. Don't catch a fucking attitude because it's not about that. But speak out honestly. Speak out about how you feel, what you feel, whatever, whatever, whatever. Leave a comment. Tell your friends. Check out Crazy Baby TV World. Visit the website, crazybabytvworld.com. Follow me on TikTok at Crazy Baby TV World and all the other social media channels. Hit me up. No subscriptions are necessary. I don't sell shit. I just talk shit. All right, y'all. I'm your man's Ken Jackson, and this has been the Ken Jackson Experience, y'all. Peace, and everybody have a safe night. I'm out.